Hello and welcome to the Breaking Free podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Francis. I'm very grateful and very humble to be joined by Tara Doherty from Endless Vitality. If you search up on Instagram, you can find that. We'll put her links in the bottom. She's a breathwork coach. She's what else is she? A gut specialist, men's health, sleep hygiene and stress reduction. But I think she's so much more than that. And I'm looking forward to delving into her story, delving into her work and really pushing out some more content for people, because I feel like the more people we get on and the more people that talk about natural health and natural ways of healing, I think the better for society. So welcome, Tara, and let's delve into you, and I'll mute my microphone. You just speak away.
Thanks so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. Well, I mean, my real passion is men's health. So it's good that we're having this chat, and it's especially needed at the moment, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, when you look at it, it's a couple of the stats that really made me kind of say, okay, these guys need a lot of help are around the reduction in sperm count for men globally. It's reduced nearly 62% in the last 50 years. So that's pretty chronic. And then looking at the obesity rates in our own country, especially, I'm looking at where it used to be an older person's condition that you might be overweight or obese. And now we've got 65% of 24 to 35-year-old blokes falling into that category. And that's 2017-18 government stats.
That's so my age group.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, what? You can't have 24-year-olds, that many. That's just such a high number. And so I really started to focus in. And I did have a few years ago, before the most recent shutdowns, etc. in Victoria, I did have a clinic in Collins Street and saw a lot of men and a lot of male executives, and started to see a pattern in behavior, lifestyle, and what was going on. And so I'm really drawn to that area. But my background, when I was really little, my brother spent a couple of years in the Children's Hospital in Victoria. And, yes, they helped him, but it got to the point where the more time he spent in hospital, the more illnesses he got and the more medications they wanted to put him on. And my mum just took it all into her own hands and pulled him out of the system and followed a couple of amazing books and wrote. In those days, you didn't have mobiles or contact details for anyone. So wrote a letter to someone in Queensland who was doing a lot of incredible natural health work. And she healed him. So
that's unreal.
He was, a big chance of losing his eyesight amongst, very compromised immune system. And so from a very young age, we grew up eating very wholesome, real food, big veggie garden, lots of acidophilus natural yogurt, cod liver oil, vitamin C powder, not disguised, tasted disgusting. You just lined up, took it, get on with your day. So it was just like, and very little television. So spent most of my childhood outside. Although we lived in the city, we got out of the city pretty much every weekend and stood in creeks and sat on beaches and, just hiked in the mountains. So
that's awesome.
I think my connection with nature, and it's something that I've given my kids, they're very connected with nature, and that none of them like the big smoke.
Yeah, that's awesome. Got to stay in touch with nature, I reckon. Yeah.
We're part of it. And so
absolutely.
Separate ourselves from it. We lose part of ourselves.
Yeah, spot on. Grounding's so important too.
Yeah.
A lot of kids out there aren't grounded. A lot of kids out there aren't grounded. So I know. I actually went to, I'm actually in Queensland at the moment, and I went to the local Steiner school just to have a look the other day, and all the kids are running around with no shoes on. And I was like, oh, well done. Like, fantastic. No shoes, no, just carefree, climbing trees. Yeah. I was like, that's awesome.
This is how kids are meant to be.
Absolutely. Spot on. Just delve into the men's health stuff you do. I'm intrigued. What you were saying off air, that you have that you do like a men's group sort of setup. I'm intrigued on what that is.
Well, when I came up here, I set up the first one with a friend of mine, and we got sort of 20 something men together, and we got a couple of local Indigenous and also another Native American Cherokee. And I brought a couple of people up from Melbourne, a particular healer that I work with, and we did a men's healing circle. So
that's awesome.
We set it up because men tend to not be as good at organizing these things, and then we stepped away. And being a nutritionist, went and prepared a beautiful feast for them to have when they were done. But they spent 2 or 3 hours just sharing in a circle around a fire. And when they came back down to the house, they were all just like, wow, I've never been amongst that many men with no ego.
That's awesome, isn't it?
Coming up. And I wasn't privy to it, and nor should I be.
Yeah.
But it's just so important for men to connect.
Yes.
Loneliness is just such a massive problem in society at the moment.
It is. Yeah.
It's more deadly than just, than alcoholism and obesity and everything. So, getting people together, getting people to connect, showing people that are completely different how they actually do have so much, like we all have so much in common intrinsically.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So true. A lot of men out there aren't doing those things, are they? They're just
no
going along, get along, and doing what everyone else is doing,
Yeah, well, they're very stuck in that, we've got to work, get up, slave, sit in front of the desk, make money, the grind. And we forget that we need to be outside. We need natural sunlight, we need to get it into our eyes early in the morning so that our circadian rhythm is operating. And, sleep is just so important for every aspect of health, including mental health. So, people are putting toxic sunscreens all over their bodies and interfering with what nature intended.
Exactly.
And I found it really interesting that the Skin Cancer Association here had to withdraw all their sunscreens from the market recently because they're carcinogenic, which is something that if anyone read the side of the packet, probably would have felt that many ingredients that nobody can pronounce is just not a good thing. Yeah.
No one even reads the packet though, do they?
Did. And because
that's the
Cancer Council, it's suddenly got kudos. And it was quite funny because one of my kids rang me and was like, Mom, you've been telling us that for 20 years. I said, yes. I just read it. I'm like, okay.
It came out recently, didn't it? Some of this, came out recently. My old man saw it and he's like, you were right about that. I said, well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. Finally. Probably right about a lot of things we are.
Yeah, absolutely. It just keeps coming out, doesn't it?
That's right. And, back to sort of why men's health's taken such a dive. I think all the toxins in the environment are really having a deep effect on, on men's fertility, on every part, particularly on gut health, which is very connected to our mental health. And if we look at, plain stats, even with young people at the moment, you've got 25% of Australians aged 18 to 21 taking antidepressants right now. I mean, wow, it beggars belief that we're not looking at this and saying, okay, what's at the root cause of this? It's not a Prozac deficiency. It's the fact that there's something wrong with how we're living.
Yes.
It's too much tech. It's not sleeping. It's not moving. It's lack of natural sunlight. It's a lot of toxic things entering into our systems. And it's glyphosate being sprayed on our food. It's fluoride in our water that we're consuming every day. So, when I work with someone, I just go through, these are the, really simple things. You can get a simple water filter, walk barefoot outside every day. A few simple breath work techniques to, whenever we're stressed, we shallow breathe. We need to, expand that diaphragm, breathe through the nose. You got all these blokes finishing up on CPAP machines with sleep apnea.
And a lot of mouth breathers too.
We need to practice breathing through the nose. It's just making yourself conscious. Once you're aware, you can make change.
Yeah, you're spot on.
Little changes along the way. You can't do it all in one go. So it's looking at the lifestyle habits. one of the things early on, I was like, don't spray Roundup in the garden. I mean, it's leaching down into our water tables. White vinegar does the same job.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And it's so cheap.
Yeah.
People are like, it's so complicated. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, eat real food.
Yes.
90% of the food in the supermarket wasn't there. Didn't exist 100 years ago.
Spot on.
So, I kind of think we overcomplicate it. We need to get back to basics.
Yeah. And hydration's important too.
Really, filtered water that's been remineralized, plain water. Learned this through a really funny guy that I follow, Tommy John.
I love Tommy John. I've got his book. I've actually read his book. Yeah. Minimize injury, maximize performance.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, I said for those that don't know, minimize injury, maximize performance. We'll put a link to that in the bottom.
Yeah, beautiful. And he always says plain water doesn't hydrate, with some superlatives in there that I won't say. But it's so true. And even salt's been demonized, and yet good quality salt, not the stuff in the pink salts, the Himalayan salts, the Celtic sea salts. They're so important.
They are.
To remineralization.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing. We're all mineral deficient because our soils are depleted. And if we want to feel good, put good stuff in and you'll feel amazing.
Spot on.
Yeah. So, and alcohol, alcohol's a toxin, and a lot of people, particularly, over the last 3 years, I know what are Australians been spending their money on? They've been spending it on alcohol. They've been spending it on online porn, and they've been spending it on online gambling. And that's horrific. That's where most funds have been going towards in this country, and that's a good indicator of where people are at. And we're normalizing a lot of behaviors that aren't normal.
Yep. And over the last 3 years, they shut the local fruit and veg stores and kept the alcohol stores open. Like, why do you think they kept those stores open?
That's right. Yeah.
And they kept the horse racing going as well.
That's it. Yeah, they did.
Everything else shut down, but there were still races every week.
And they kept the AFL, playing around the place, and everyone's sitting at home betting on horses every sports game.
Here's your bread and circus while we take your rights away.
That's it. Exactly right. Yeah. And it was incredibly frustrating for some of us to sit by and watch.
Yeah.
But I suppose so much is dependent on what's going into our systems. And, so it's pretty simple, to swap things out, stop buying polyester clothing, linen and cotton, get the microplastics out, because that all filters through. It's wafting around. It's in our food. I think Mexico's just from 2023, they're going to take, they're banning glyphosate from being sprayed on all of their crops.
Mexico's leading the way, aren't they?
Mexico are gunning it. America and Australia, not so much.
No.
We're really, and we just, and that, those are the things that influence sperm count and things like that. And have a big impact on, pesticides, toxins, too many medications, particularly over-the-counter meds. People aren't understanding, I'll just take a Nurofen, I'll just take a Panadol, I'll just check, whatever it happened, an anti-inflammatory, I'm a bit sore. Well, why is your body inflammatory? Let's have a look at that. Why do you take those things? Why have you got a headache? You're probably dehydrated, and you
that's
probably
the first step.
Yeah, and you probably haven't moved enough.
Correct.
And the older we get, the more we have to move. The more we need to make sure that we've got strength and balance and muscle mass. And it was pretty funny though. I did a personal survey of 60 blokes that I came across in a short period of time, and I asked them, what's more important to you, how you look or how you feel?
Ooh.
Yeah. And what do you think?
I reckon it was how you look.
100%.
Oh, that's unbelievable, isn't it? A lot of people care about how they look, don't they?
Well, which is interesting considering our obesity rates.
True.
So, and the great thing is that if we can fix all of that pretty simply by making some pretty basic lifestyle changes, and then we fix both, we can make, we can make you look good because belly fat is not healthy. Visceral fat around the organs is the most unhealthy fat. And the fat stored around the belly is the most toxic. That's where all the toxins are stored. So once we get rid of that and we really detoxify the body and help draw all those toxins out, and a lot of people sort of, use different tools for that. And, it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be hard. Even fasting is amazing. Intermittent fasting, incredible for detoxification.
I fast every day.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't eaten today.
Neither have I.
Yeah. I usually wait. And, you don't do it again. You don't do it all at once. You ease yourself into these things. You do it, if you normally eat at 7 a.m, then, for a week, don't eat till 8.
Yeah, just build yourself
go to
up.
9, and then, we don't want people passing out or having low blood sugar because they're not used to it.
I went pretty hardcore with it, actually. I went pretty hardcore in all the stuff.
Yeah, see, that's a bloke.
There's a lesson there.
That's right. Yeah. There's no doubt that, there's some really little things that you can do. Like I wake up in the morning and I, use the Ayurvedic tongue scraping. So first thing I do every morning, I scrape my tongue.
Yeah, get rid of all the bacteria.
All the toxins, that accumulate overnight.
Yeah, that's a simple thing. Like I've also read the same stuff. Even brushing your teeth when you wake up in the morning does the same thing too.
Yeah, so and brush your teeth with a natural toothpaste.
Oh, and yeah, true.
And then if you then want to build, I like to say sort of good, better, best, so that you can do that, then you can do this, and then if you want to, take it all the way. Do some oil pulling, swish around some organic coconut oil in your mouth. Amazing for getting rid of bacteria, plaque, teeth. It's a natural teeth whitener. There's so much we can do that's natural and easy. But don't then spit it down the sink because you might clog up your water.
Yeah, spit it outside.
Into the bin. Yeah, exactly. So, and I think, there's so many small things that we can do that will have massive impact. And, obesity rates are just terrible because
they are.
We understand the correlation between, high blood pressure and heart health and heart attacks and, chronic disease and, and then going back to, things like erectile dysfunction and low testosterone and other things that men are, definitely coming to me for. Having that belly fat, that needs to go if you really want to boost your own testosterone and get things, working in that area. It's part of it. It's not all of it. We also need to get rid of the pesticides and a lot of the toxins. And toxins can come in the human form as well. We need to get rid of people who make us feel awful about ourselves too. And really drain our energy. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially those people that are around us that are doing those things that we don't necessarily like doing. Yeah. If we have friends that are doing all this, and we want to change, sometimes
we need
we'll have to make that hard decision.
With they say that you're only as successful as the 5 people around you that you spend the most time with. Well, you're only as healthy as the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah, and that's why I ask in my questionnaire I send out to people is who are your 5 best friends? Name them and what addictions they have.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what comes up most there in regards to the addictions?
Alcohol, smoking, gambling.
Yeah, there you go.
And junk food.
And junk food. And junk food is so addictive.
It is.
Sugar is so addictive. But and the seed oils and that combination of sugar and those sort of seed oils that they're putting into all the processed foods, your canola, your soybean, all of those, they're the most inflammatory foods. They're really, they're really evil. They cause the highest inflammatory response in the body. And inflammation in the body is the precursor to pretty much every disease that we're likely to suffer from, whether it's cancer, Alzheimer's, arthritis, doesn't matter. If we're doing terrible things to our body and causing our gut to be permeable through lifestyle and food and stress.
Emotions, yeah.
Stress is a big one. And stress causes inflammation as well. We can't differentiate, and it's hard to know, if we're feeling really anxious, we often make bad choices.
Yes. That's your self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage, exactly. So yeah. I mean, you obviously know a lot about that.
Oh yeah. That's why I said emotions.
Yeah, that's right. So really important to learn, not block emotions. We need to feel them.
Let them. Yep.
We need to let them go. We need to let them out. If you look at things like cancer and stuff, like, it's good to have a good cry.
Yes.
And men don't do it enough. Like when you're feeling that complete overwhelm, let it out.
Yeah, it's a program though, isn't it? It's don't ask for help. You're strong. You're tough. Help's a sign of weakness. That's the program.
It is.
It's not a program. Men are human too, and humans cry. We can cry.
We need to.
Yeah, agreed.
Bad stuff happens, and it hurts.
It does.
Yeah,
and but men suppress that. You need to feel it.
Exactly. You need to feel into it and release it, and then you can move on. You don't let it, otherwise it just builds up. And then, that causes disease in the body.
Yes, it does. And if you're unsure, Tara's here. I'm here. We're only a message away.
Exactly. And I think, I like the fact that it's focus in on what you can do.
Yeah, I agree.
And keep it as simple as possible. If you give people 100 things to do, they just get into overwhelm again.
Yeah.
So it's, piece by piece by piece. And it's incredible over a 6-month period of, focusing, consist with a consistent approach. You can change your whole life.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I'm living proof of that.
Perfect. What was the biggest struggle that you dealt with when you were?
There was 3 in no particular order.
You're right.
We'll go. It was casual sex.
Yeah.
Because I was scared of love.
Yeah.
Alcohol. And negative thinking.
Okay.
And patience. So there's 4.
As in you weren't patient at all.
Yeah. This whole journey has taught me patience.
Well, it's been a long 2 or 3 years, hasn't it?
Has been. It's been very, very quick, but it's been. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I agree. I've learned so much about myself and about I've found new ways of working with myself and with people through this period. Yeah,
and I've met people like you through this period, so it's pretty cool.
So many amazing people. Yeah. So I think if we look at what's occurred and those key areas that people are spending their money on, look, there's 3 things that people probably need help with.
Yeah, and self-sabotage is another form of it too.
Yeah.
So there's so many.
So many. And, having a good hard look, well, why are you drinking so much? What are you blocking? What emotion aren't you wanting to face? Yep. What don't you want to look at within yourself? And then just, And sometimes you need someone to work with you to ask you the hard questions because
you can't do it all yourself.
Sometimes you can't do it yourself. And, I've studied NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So breaking it down, asking the next question. Let's get to the root cause of what's really going on. Why are you sabotaging yourself?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if you're eating crap, drinking too much, putting poisons into your body, you don't love yourself.
No.
So why don't you love yourself? Because if you loved yourself, you wouldn't poison yourself.
Exactly.
And so
powerful.
Breaking it down is really important.
And dehydration too. Like if you're doing that every weekend, we're going to be dehydrated Monday to Wednesday, aren't you?
You are, and alcohol's a depressant, so you're also going to hit, feel really low, and then, if you sort of stay up late, party really hard, get sleep, you've got jet lag for the first half of the week. You feel terrible. You've got low energy, so your body's craving carbs. It's and you're just on that hamster wheel of
literally.
Ill health. And I think what's really interesting too is even with some people who aren't carrying excess belly fat, often still do have visceral fat around their organs, which is the most toxic, the most damaging to your health.
That was me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I was as you say, skinny, but I was like skinny fat. Skinny fat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? You start fasting and eating clean, and Oh, I have a flat stomach now.
And
No
how good do
way.
you feel? And then if 100% of men's most important thing in regards to, what they want is to look good, well, we can help them deliver that.
Correct.
If you want to
Starts on
look,
the inside.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It's just the little things, and that visceral fat around the organs is just so damaging.
It is.
And I think for me, I look at lifespan, and I think I want to live. I don't just want to live long. I want to live young. I want to feel and biologically be as young as I can for as long as I can.
Yeah, spot on.
And
if you're not downing yourselves in poison and having all these poisons and that, like the aging process, you can actually not stop it, but you can delay it, can't you?
Well, you can do biological age testing and you can reverse it.
Well, there you go.
So you can be a 60-year-old who's biologically a 40-year-old.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Just through lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Dave Asprey talks about that quite a lot.
Yep.
He's got a lot of results and things in regards to that testing. So that's really interesting.
There's a name I'm going to research later.
Yeah, easy to find. He's a bit of a biohacker though. And I think my only problem with hacking is, you don't necessarily need all these gadgets and all these tests and all these complicated, expensive things. What you need is just to keep it really simple, keep it as natural as possible. There's amazing things in nature that are medicinal, that can heal, that can, boost your libido, that can make you feel better, that can calm you down. Incredible herbs like ashwagandha. They've got 2,000 years of research. I mean, they've been using it for so long, so incredible. Natural, just chuck it in your smoothie in the morning. Another things like maca powder. It's so easy to buy. They're not expensive, and they have a huge impact on balancing out hormones. Again, helping with testosterone, and I know there's a real trend at the moment to take artificial testosterone for blokes. Well, there's no research showing that it really is associated. It's not one of the things in regards to erectile dysfunction that they look at. And introducing it doesn't necessarily mean that it fixes those issues. And then if you're taking something that's artificial instead of doing it naturally and working out, well, why is it low? Let's look at all the things I can do in my life to fix that. I can, lift some weights, get some muscle mass, balance, take some maca powder, eat clean, get rid of the chemicals. And a big one is the endocrine disruptors, which is all the plastics. Yep. So, we don't have plastic containers in our house. Everything's glass or stainless steel. Don't drink out of plastic bottles. Don't buy foods that's in plastic containers. These are all leaching, even a new car is like one of the most toxic environments you can be in. Don't have one of those little smelly things that makes your car smell nice.
And it smashes you with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
Oh, well, turn your Bluetooth off in the car, 100%. That's right. Glad wrap. I mean, my grandmother was in the Peter MacCallum Hospital, which is one of the top cancer hospitals, I don't know, 35 years ago with breast cancer. And they said to her, number one, don't ever use Glad wrap again. And that just stuck in my brain. And I just think, wow, everyone still uses Glad.
Yep, they do.
And I remember, because I wasn't allowed to watch TV as a kid, being sort of 15 and reading the Australian newspaper and reading about microwave ovens and how they destroy the nutrients in the food, and never to particularly put milk or dairy products in the microwave oven because it makes them carcinogenic.
Yeah.
And I literally, I was 15, and I know that because we moved house an awful lot, so I can picture which room I was in. And I was, right then I was like, right. And then we've got everybody putting the baby bottle into the microwave oven to heat the milk. Yeah. And you just think, we knew this a long time ago. Everyone, the research has been out there, but it's just been sabotaged.
Suppressed too.
Suppressed. That's
they don't want this getting out.
No, that just, play outside, get in the dirt.
It's not hard, is it?
No, I used to tell particularly my eldest, I'd be like, because he was a bit of a clean freak, and I'd be like, get outside, you're not dirty enough. Get back out there.
Love that. That's awesome.
Get dirty, play, climb trees. Yeah. And I'd take them. It takes more energy to spend the whole day outside, even in the middle of winter, watching your kids surf. When it's freezing cold, I'd have, 3 or 4 jackets on, a blanket, and but the result is that, they love nature. They're really connected to it. We never had an Xbox or a PlayStation. So that addiction to all those games that all these kids are playing, and that's sabotaging sleep. And there's a lot of adults playing games at night too.
Oh yeah, there is. But they're actually children in adult bodies though.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't got all those amazing pathways now where those initiation ceremonies that the boys always had, in all different cultures. There was always this is when you transition to be a man.
Yep.
And it makes such a huge difference. I know my youngest, I sent off, I didn't send him off. He wanted to do it, but he went off and jackarooed after year 12 in the Northern Territory. And, here's your saddle, here's your 2 horses. Doesn't know how to ride a horse at this point. By the end of the year, it was just amazing, gutsy. Yeah. And people were saying to me, oh my God, aren't you terrified? He's bull riding. He's doing this. He's doing that. I'm like, oh, thank God. He's out there. They need that.
They do.
Men need those, they need to be pushed beyond their comfort zone.
And that's the thing. People aren't comfortable,
physically,
or men aren't comfortable with being uncomfortable. Perfect. They're comfortable being comfortable.
Yes. Yeah. And we're sort of, we're softening them too much.
We are breaking down some of those belief systems.
Yeah, we really need we need men to be men. We need them to have, the right level of testosterone, not high levels of artificial testosterone that makes them angry and, all that sort of steroid perception. That's not it at all. And to be honest, if you start taking artificial, it doesn't matter what you take, whether it's artificial melatonin to help you sleep, whether it's testosterone, the body then thinks, I don't have to make this anymore. Yep. And then you're dependent for life. The body then thinks, okay, it's not my job to do that anymore. So all, and I'm not saying don't use something like melatonin if you are in a really poor sleep cycle or you're traveling, but use it for a couple of days just to help reset. More importantly, get up out into the sunshine.
Yes.
Move your body.
Yes.
Hydrate massively, fast. There's so many ways of correcting things, that sun gazing early in the morning.
I did that this morning. It's so good, isn't it?
It's so good.
Down here in Victoria, we've had a lot of cloudy weather, but the next 7 days are pretty sunny. So I know where I'll be.
Perfect. That's it. And we need it. We're going to thrive off it. And vitamin D, even with this virus, when it first came in, there was so much evidence to show that people weren't, who had high D, weren't getting as sick and weren't finishing up in the hospital. So, you know what? We need it's been the beauty of what that does to you, of being outside in natural light. It gives us energy.
It does. And if it's a cloudy day, and if it's like cloudy, people aren't as happy, but the sun's out today. People have got smiles on their faces.
Absolutely. Yeah. So get out there and don't burn yourself. I'm not saying that. No. I'm just saying
build immunity.
Build immunity, get outside, be in the dirt, have your shoes off. And that's the best thing about the beach. You get everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You get negative ions from the ocean, you get natural magnesium, you get grounded, you get rid of all the EMFs that are bombarding us.
Yeah.
You're connected. It's perfect. And you get your vitamin D. It's like, or if you're in the countryside, stand in a stream.
Yeah, I was doing that the other day.
Get your shoes off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get into natural water. Yeah. So I would say that there's just so much that we can do naturally.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. And you don't have to go to a doctor to do this. Just go and do it.
exactly. And if you're not sure what to tackle first, is it the mental or is it the physical?
Yeah.
If you're having trouble, there are people like us that you can help them identify why they're doing the sabotage, and someone like me can help them. Okay, here's the basic steps that you can take that will make you feel so much better so quickly. Even last week I was working with a guy, and I just did some gut. We just sort of changed a few things for a few days and introduced a really good gut healing powder just made from vegetable skins, completely natural. Hadn't been sleeping well for such a long time. He was like, "Oh my God, I thought you were joking when you said that." He's like, "I haven't slept. I can't even remember when I slept this well."
Yeah, that's unreal.
Not complicated, and you know what? If you feel good, everything else falls into place.
Yeah, spot on.
Your relationships, you're a better parent, you're calmer,
you're just a better version of yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Better version. Exactly. So,
yeah.
And, exercise, got to sweat too.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's another good form of natural detox right there and there, isn't it?
That's it. There's three main ways we detoxify. Our exhale, so back to breath work, like a really long exhale. So that's getting rid of toxins out of our system. Sweating, whether it's exercise or it's infrared sauna, and having a shower straight afterwards to get the toxins off the skin. We don't want them reabsorbed.
Yeah.
And then elimination. Obviously, we want our bowels to be working properly.
Yep. Spot on.
Because we've got to get it out of the body.
Yeah.
And so if you're not hydrated, and you're not eating good quality foods with some fiber and, nutrients that your body's actually absorbing,
yeah,
nothing else works.
No, you're right.
Yeah. And, there's a reason why people say good food, good mood.
Yep, there is.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very, very, very well put. Is there anything else you would like to say before we wind things down, Tara?
Oh, I think I'd just say, keep it really simple.
Yeah.
Eat real food, move your body, drink clean water. It's not as complicated as what people make out.
No, it's not.
And they're the foundations. And yes, you can take certain supplements and things, but a supplement is a supplement. It's a supplement to an already healthy diet. If you're not eating well and you're not living well and you're not moving, no supplement is going to change.
Exactly. Break down the words, supplement.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of words I've been breaking down lately.
Oh, there's a few of them too. We could do another podcast on the inversion of the English language if you like.
Yeah, you should probably get Santos Bonacci or someone like that on.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
He's next level.
Yeah, isn't he? Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, often asked my guests towards the end, Tara, for an affirmation or a mum joke. You had an affirmation. You didn't tell me what it was when we spoke before, so I'm keen to.
No. Well, there's just something that I taught my children to say, and I say it to myself all the time, and that's everything's always working out for me.
I love that.
And wake up in the morning and say it. And even if I get caught in traffic or I drop something as I'm walking out the door, or, something delays me, I then say everything's always working out for me. That was meant to happen because it probably stopped me from having a car accident down the track, or meant that I didn't get to something I wasn't meant to be at that place at that point in time. So I even when things don't work out, I put a positive spin on it. I'm like, okay, well, there's something in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and yeah, I've often had my kids say to me, even this week, it really works, Mum. Even when I want to get a car park, I just start. Or
that's awesome.
Move to a new suburb, new place.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a job. I get up, everything's always working out for me. I've got 3 interviews today.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so really good. And express gratitude too. You're grateful to be here.
Thankful. Absolutely. Yeah.
Very,
very important. Yeah. I did a course on the science of happiness through Berkeley University in California. And yeah, it's so powerful. Yeah. Three things every day that that you're grateful for, and writing them down is so much more powerful than just thinking.
I do 5.
Beautiful. Well, you're even more amazing.
That's
More
been a
benefits
really
to you.
that's been a really good chat, Tara. Been really
Thank
awesome
you.
to talk to you. And if people want to find you, they can find you where? Well, there'll be some notes down the bottom,
The
but
notes down
just
the bottom. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm on Instagram, endless.vitality with a big yellow lemon as my logo. I've got a website, endlessvitality.com.au.
Yep.
Yeah, and as you said, we'll pop them in the
Yeah,
show.
flick your email in there too. People can
They'll do. Yeah,
email you as well. And
absolutely.
if all that resonates with people and people want to reach out for help, well, Tara's here, I'm here, and there's so many others doing this awesome work. So you're not alone. So
Absolutely. It's so important not to feel alone. Yeah.
yeah. Anything else? Wrap it up.
No, time to get some sunshine.
I agree. It's beautiful here. So all right, thank you, Tara, for coming
Beautiful.
on, and we'll definitely talk soon. I'll
Yeah.
get you back on, I reckon. So thank you
Love
very
to.
much for coming on.
All right. Pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
No
Bye.
worries at all.